So, Peziantes, the Maestro is doing a Holy Paladin guide for the worst patch in all of the history of WoW, which is really saying something. I don't know how this thing hasn't went out of business yet. But anyway, Holy Paladin guide, patch 10.7, highest rated and best Paladin game. We don't look at my 3's rating though, because you can't get above 2K anymore. But anyway, big damn. 30-time rank 1 Hpal, best Paladin game, highest rated and best Paladin game by far. No one even comes close to me. So, in the new patch, in the old patch, Hpal was the worst healer. It was terrible. No one could play it. In the new patch, words can't even describe how bad it is. But that's just the way it is. So warning, if anybody does want to play Pally, don't. There's no point. But anyways, let's get back to the actual video. When you play Hpal, the only thing you can do is cry. Dude, what is happening? What is happening? Oh, because I started downloading Classic. Oh, WoW is so bad right now that I'm downloading Classic. That's how you know about. I was thinking about playing Assassin's Creed. It was so bad. But anyway, all right. So the first talents you go into, there's 3 specs you could play. You could play caster spec. You could play melee wings, and you could play a hybrid of both. So if you're gonna play caster spec, this is the spec you play right here. You go. Obviously, you're gonna go into this because you want your Hammer of Justice cooldown to be reduced every time you log, even though you can't get CC anyway. Because if you ever push in for CC as a Paladin, your entire team dies, and you can't reposition anymore because the damage is so high that you can't even reposition to get. Before this patch, if you did land CC, you could win the game. After this patch, if you land CC as a Paladin, you can't win the game. If a Shaman ever hexes you, though, you're so dead it's a joke. But obviously this is completely useless. Turn evil. It used to be good. It's not good anymore because it's too long of a cast. You won't even be able to get it up before your team dies. And if you get locked out, you're dead instantaneously. They changed Retribution Aura now, so that if your teammates take 30% damage, that you'll gain 5% increased healing, which could be potentially good, but at the same time, you're going to probably want Concentration Aura or Devotion Aura anyways, and it takes up a talent point, so it's not worth it, and you just don't have the global to switch auras. If you wanted to be able to get multiple... The problem is, Aura Mastery is on global. So if you want Aura Mastery with your Concentration Aura, you have to switch auras. So if you do want to go to Retribution Aura, you don't even have that global to even do it. So it's just, you can't play it. You can't play these auras. They should just take auras out of the game. They're completely useless trash. Or make them all, I don't know why they're on global. They should all be off global so you can actually outplay people with them. There's no way you can outplay people with them when you have 3 globals. Imagine you're trying to fucking get Aura Mastery up. You have Devotion Aura on. You have to swap the Concentration Aura and then press Aura Mastery. Your entire team's dead instantly. Obviously go into Divine Steed because you need the good old-fashioned My Sprint. Run around the roll and back again. So important for your mobility, obviously. Then I go into Cavalier. So you have 2 charges of My Sprint. This talent doesn't even work. I don't know what the fuck this talent is. It doesn't increase... This talent is just bugged. It doesn't work. And when you're trying to put your talents in, it tells you there's 2. It tells you it's rank 0 of 2. And then it makes you put like 2 points in there and it doesn't work. Don't ever go into that talent. It's completely useless, garbage, trash. Obviously you want to go into Rebuke. So you can kick more on Frost Mages, Class 7, Class 2 Glacial Spikes to one-shot you. Pretty much always there's going to be something to kick in the game, so it's pretty much always good. And, of course, Big Damn Judge, especially if you're running melee wings. This is always good to have for extra dam. And there's not much else you can really put this in. And if you take this out, then you can't get these talents, so you're forced to, like, put... You could maybe take this instead of this, maybe, I'm not sure. So you could try to play Retribution Aura, but I don't think it's better. Then of course, but let's give sacrifice. You're gonna want these talents. Dude, I'm lagged out. Dude! This game is so fucking bad. Alright, I'm back. Legendary. Blessing of Sacrifice. It's the same as before. Then you obviously want to go into the 60-second reduced. They changed this, so now you get 20% increased honor and 10% increased stamina, which is good, I guess. You still die. I mean, the problem is your healing, not your health. The problem is your fucking healing is 0. Like, why don't you do something to increase WOG healing? Like, all they had to do to fix Hpals was increase WOG healing, give us fast cast back, make Divine Favor not in a 47-minute cooldown, and give us auras off cooldown, and Divine Favor. I don't understand why they nerfed Divine Favor into the ground at the same time as increasing its cooldown. If you're gonna nerf Divine Favor and make it a slower cast time, and so it does less healing, you'd think you'd reduce the cooldown of it, so you could get more Divine Favors off, because it's reduced healing, and makes no sense. Blizzard is just, this is why, I swear, this game's gotta go out of business someday. Blessing and Protection, you obviously want that, and then a reduced cooldown on your Bubba Yell, and Divine Protection. The thing is, though, versus this, for melee wings, you can take a point out of this, because the game isn't going to last. Most of the time, the game is not going to last until you have 3 bops. So you could potentially take a point out of this and put it in something else. The problem is there's not much else good. You can't put it in this because you don't have enough talent points. You could try out this. They're all like kind of useless. Like, they're all pretty useless. So, I mean, it's probably the best choice you can do. You might live until the 3rd bop if you have the best teammates in the entire game and you are the best Paladin in the entire game. So you probably won't. You'll die. Yeah, it's completely useless. But that's what they do for Holy Pally. Haste is increased by 4%. Judgment cooldown reduced by 1%. 1 second. That's the best you can put it in. Obviously, any secondary stats that you can get is the best thing. Mastery and intellect increased by 4%. Really good. And then, of course, Divine Purpose is the same. And now I go into Divine Toll, and I think the 15-second reduced Divine Toll is better because you just needed to keep your team alive. You need that Divine Toll up as fast as possible to keep your team alive. But at the same time, this was good. I was so used to Divine Renaissance and the Holy Power that it would give, the 3 extra Holy Power. And sometimes it's really good because during a Rep Pally's wings, are way better than your wings by like 500 times. So if a Rep Pally pops wings on you and you don't have like that extra holy shot going off by itself, it's almost impossible. Even with that, it's impossible. I guess it doesn't matter because even with that, it's impossible to live. Because if a Rep Pally pops wings on you, he can solo you through your wings. The only way you could potentially live through a Rep Pally's wings is if you preemptively freedom yourself, horse away at the same time as you already have concentration aura, use aura mastery in Divine Fave and top yourself, and you don't have anybody else. Hpal is awful. There's no way. That's why I just think Divine Toll reduced cooldown so you can get more Divine Tolls off and heal your teammates and try to just position so the Rep Pally can't go on you. Dude, everything is based around Rep Pally, Arshame, and Demo. And Holy Pally is the worst into all these 3 classes. So as a Holy Pally right now, you're completely and utterly effed in every way. Because all you're going to be fighting is, these are the 3 classes you're going to be fighting. Ret, Demo, Arshame. And what counters Hpal in general? Ret, Demo, Arshame. These are all the classes that counter Hpal in general. Then they buffed all those classes, and then they made it so all those classes could play together. So and on top of that, you don't have a good comp to play as an Hpal to even counter that. What comp do you have as an Hpal? There's not a single comp that I'm confident in that I can win against a fucking 1500 CR Ret Demo Arshame. Maybe as a Hpal, you could potentially run Demo Ellie. You could potentially run S-Freezed Warrior. all these comps, it doesn't, like, they're still not going to be able to cut through. I mean, unless you're playing with the absolute best players who know exactly what to do, you're not even going to win at 2K as an Hpal. And even I'm having the, obviously I don't have anybody to play with and stuff, but even I'm having, it's so hard for me to get past 2K. It's disgusting. And I can't play solo queue. I would be fucking 3,500 in solo queue, but you can't even queue up for solo queue because I'm 3,200 on all my pals. You can't even queue because all you're going to fight is double ret. All you're going to fight is ret demo, our shame. Holy Pally can't beat any. The problem is, all these healers, you throw in any healer with a ret pally, it's better than with a Holy Pally. So even if you have a ret pally on your team as a Holy Paladin, ret Holy Paladin is the worst comp in the entire game. Ret Holy Paladin just doesn't go together. It doesn't go. You have all the same cooldowns. You can't live. As a Holy Paladin, you can only heal your team if you're insanely good at the game like I am. If you use your mana perfectly, and you're playing with good players, you're still going to have a hard time even living 4 to 5 minutes. That's if you use your mana perfectly. And maybe even get like a 30% drink. You'll be out of mana within 4 to 5 minutes, 100% out of mana. And the damage is so high, if a ret pally pops wings on you, it's 20% dampening, and you already have no mana, you're dead. You're instantly dead. There's nothing you can do. But anyways, I go into Judgment of the Light because there's no other good choices. You can potentially, I mean, you could take a point out of this and a point out of this and try and put 1 point into this for increased WOG healing by 10%, but you'd have to be standing in your cons down for max dam. And it's like, why wouldn't you just make this talent increase WOG healing? Why would you make it so you have to stand in your cons to do the WOG? Like, the brain damage is so immense by Blizzard, it's mind-boggling. So they did change this, and I think this is actually worse. Because it used to be Blessing of Dawn and Blessing of Dusk would give you 9% extra healing, and 8% extra healing on your Holy Power abilities. So this was 17% extra healing for 20 seconds, on top of you always having Blessing of Dusk, which increased your armor and increased your Holy Power generating abilities. So they changed it so that after you use 3 abilities, you get your Holy Power spending ability increased by 30%. That's actually so much worse. So they actually just nerfed Hpals into the ground. Like, that is actually so much worse. Having 17% healing all of the time on all of your abilities, for only after using 3 abilities, having a 30% extra heal on just WOG. And WOG is your most shit heal. WOG is dog shit. WOG is garbage. WOG is trash. WOG is your fucking smallest and most trash heal. You press WOG, your teammates' health go down. WOG is terrible. So they give you 30% extra heal on your Holy Power generating ability. That's your only Holy Power ability. Besides Shield of Righteousness, which doesn't do any healing. So they just give you a 30% extra heal after doing 3 heals. So I have to use 3 globals. 1, 2, I don't even know if that counts as a 1. 3, no, it doesn't even count as 1 until it goes off. So you have to use 4 globals. 4 globals and you get this one thing to do 1 WOG. So you use 4 globals to do a WOG that did 67k. Is that even 20% of your health? Hpals is so bad. Don't ever play this class. Don't ever play this class. Don't ever play this class. So yeah, and then I go into this though because Blessing of Dusk causes your Holy Power to grant an Absorb Shield, but a lot of the time you don't even have Blessing of Dusk up because it's so hard to even get Blessing of Dawn up because you have to cast 3 spells. You have to cast 3 spells, 2.5 second cast heal, 2.5 second cast heal. How are you ever supposed to get that off in an arena game? You can't. But then of course I run Crusader's Reprieve. Of course they named it after the Maestro. The Reprieve of Light. You can try to trick people out with this because probably a lot of people don't know they have this. So you can kick people from 3 extra yards. So you can kind of like outplay people with that a little bit and kick them from afar. So yeah, that concludes the talent points for over here. Unless obviously you play melee wings, which you'd go 2 points into this and 1 point into this. So you take a point out of this. To go melee wings, you would take a point out of here it shows you right here. You take a point out of that, and you go that, and yeah. And but we'll look at the other side first. And for regular wings, these are the talents you're going to be running on this side. You want your flash heal to do max healing. Obviously, you want to be doing holy lights when you can, but you really don't have a chance, so you're going to be mostly flash of lighting. And usually your flash of light does more healing than holy light because of all the buffs that the flash of light has. And you could potentially go into this, but normally you're going to be using holy shock the most. So holy shock is probably better to have always, even though you get 5% more healing on flash heal using that. It's probably not worth it. Now I go into the silver hand, but I'm not sure if this is better because I don't feel like it procs a lot, and I'm still trying it out, and I haven't really gotten that many games, so I'm not sure if that would be better, or the Aura Mastery thing could potentially be better. Aura Mastery also increases the healing received by your party or raid members within 40 yards by 10%. So you could have 10% more healing during your Aura Mastery, and during your Aura Mastery is one of the only times where you could potentially get heals out. So you could have 10% more healing instead of this, which doesn't really proc. If this procced, I think it would be good, because you're going to be using Flash of Light a decent amount in the game if you're caster spec. But at the same time, I don't think it procs that much, or I haven't seen it proc that much. So I don't know. I might even go out of that talent. But otherwise, there's not much you can go into. You could go into Tyrer's Deliverance, but you have to run up close to your fucking allies. You have to be within 20 yards to even get that buff on them. And you really have to be closer than that to even get that buff on them because it doesn't register. So you literally have to be like fucking 5 yards away. And it's just terrible. And it really doesn't do any healing. And you only have it for 10 seconds. So it's like, there's no good option. It's just Hpals is so bad. And obviously you still go into Glimmer. They changed up where the talents are and stuff. But you go into the Glimmer, Blessing of Summer. And of course I go into this because Light of Dawn does no healing. With Melee Wings you run this because you're in the middle of them and you can get some value from Light of Dawn and you don't really cast Flash Heal a lot. But with this you go into the reduced mana cost of Flash Heal by an additional 30%. So when you get a Infusion of Light proc like this, Flash Heal is going to be reduced by 60%, so it's only 4,400 mana. Your Holy Light's 8,000 mana. So that's what I mean by healing mana efficiently. I'm only using Flash Heals when I have this, and I still go within 4 minutes, no matter how I play. So that's what I mean. You can play out of your mind. You can play perfectly, and your class is just, it's so bad. If you run Melee Wings, then you're going to change this talent. You're going to change this talent. You're going to change this talent to this talent, Crusader's Mic, so whenever you use a Crusader Strike, you get your Holy Shock back 1 second faster. But Melee Wings is just pretty insanely terrible because you heal less than a rogue. Melee Wings does negative healing, and you put yourself in a terrible position by using Melee Wings, and you're going to obviously change out that talent and go into that talent. And then you're going to take one talent out of Divine Toll, you're going to take one talent out of this to put it in these two. And this, and Judgment of the Light. But yeah, it's depressing. Hpals is so bad. Like I said, Hpals is so bad because of the comps who are fighting. Because no comp goes good with you either, and there's no way to end the game. The whole thing about Hpals is you could try to end the game with your CC. You can't do that anymore. You can't. It doesn't. Let's say you're fighting a Resto Shaman Demo. Let's say you're on the Demo lock. You run in for your Hodge. You're trying to get CC on the Arshame. The Ret Hodges you first. Then the Ret swaps to you, gets your trinket. Then you get coiled out of that. They force your bubble. Then you get feared out of that. And then when you finally get to the Arshame, after spending all your CDs to try to get to the Arshame, even if you go in after their cooldowns are popped already, even if you wait till their cooldowns are down, even if you wait till Wings is down on the Rat, even if you wait till Tyrant's down in the sky, the Arshame will do this. Press Earthen. Press Grounding. Press a second Earthen. Run away behind a pillar so you can't Hodge him. Drop a Healing Stream Totem that heals through your entire team's damage. So you have no way to win the game. Or your teammates will do a DRCC on the Shaman when you push in. So you completely wasted your Mice Sprint. You put yourself in a bad position. And now you're completely fucked. So yeah. Hpals is in the worst state it's ever been. It's unplayable. It's completely unplayable. And even if you're not an Hpal, if you're any other class too, if you're a rogue, you're going to have a hard time. I mean, you'll have an easier time than Hpal, and you can still play rogue mage and all these other comps that have have win conditions. As you're an Hpal, you legitimately have no win condition, and that's the scariest thing. Like, going into a game knowing that you can't kill them, you can't win the long game, you can't win the short game, you can't out-mana them, you can't outplay them, you can't do anything. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the Maestro's Hpal guide. Let me know if you liked it. And the Maestro never gives up.